Hey beautiful soul, welcome back to another pick a card reading on the channel. If you are new, my name is Natalie and this is Be a Free Spirit. The focus of this channel is to bring unconsciousness to the light. I do a lot of videos around self-awareness and self-love, definitely digging into the unconscious as well. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing and joining the Be a Free Spirit community. But let's kind of jump into a little bit an overview of today's reading. Today's reading is a yes or no pick a card to any question that you have. Also know that this reading is timeless, meaning whenever you find this, it was in divine timing. So trust your intuition. I do want to jump into a few disclaimers and then we'll go straight to the pile selection. Know that tarot should never dictate your life, okay? This is just a self-awareness tool. One thing that is, something that we all deal with is tarot addiction, getting addicted to watching pick a card readings for self-awareness. But it's important to really use your intuition and see which readings you are specifically called to, because at that time and place, that reading is meant for your journey, okay? So if you're here and your intuition is saying yes, 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 you are really called to this video, then there's a message you need to hear right now, okay? If you are doing this video out of curiosity, whatever the case is, use your intuition and know if you're directed to this pick a card reading for the right reason, okay? I think that's a really important thing because a goal of my channel is to provide insights on how you can be your best self. And in order to do that, you need to take the insights from this reading and actually apply them into your life. And you can't do that if you are trying to do 50 other, insights from other card readings. So it's really important to just make sure that you're using your intuition and taking the guidance that your guides are trying to give to you, okay? So that's just one thing I want to put in my disclaimer. And then, the usual stuff that you guys are used to, just know that if you're directed to more than one pile, it's okay to choose a different pile. Your intuition is your guide here. Just listen to that little voice in your head. The first thing that pops into your head is your intuition. Okay, so otherwise than that, I think that pretty much does it. I have launched personal readings. So if you are interested in booking a reading, I have a link down below. I do offer video and email readings at a pretty good rate. So definitely check the description for those prices and then you can book through my website. Otherwise than that, I think let's jump straight into the pile selection and figure out if this question is a yes or a no. All right, here we have a close-up of the decks. So this is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. So as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 30 seconds to meditate with these crystals and piles, and then we'll go ahead and jump straight into the readings. Okay, I hope that gave you guys a moment to meditate with those crystals. We're gonna go ahead and jump straight into the pile selection, starting with group 1. All right, group 1, welcome to your reading. You chose Tiger's Eye. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if your question is yes or no. So go ahead and just kind of keep asking that question in your head. So the first cards are going to be kind of a straightforward indication of your answer. The tarot cards will go a little bit more into detail on why that is your answer. And then the moon cards will give you the outcome. And then the fairy cards are guidance around your outcome. So it can be a yes or a no. Let's dig in. So keep listening to that question. Okay, the first card we have is Nightingale Spirit, Love is All Around. And then we have Vulture Spirit, Nothing is Wasted. Okay, my first indication is I'm feeling like it's a no, but it's because you already have something that you're wishing for, or you already have what you're asking for. But let's dig into the tarot cards, because that's kind of what I'm getting, right? Is love is all around. So basically what you're asking for, it could be you're asking for love, right? You're asking about another person, a love situation, because you feel like maybe you made a mistake in the relationship, and so I, wasted the time we had together, or I did this, or they did this and it was wasted, or just kind of feeling like something was lost and something wasn't complete, right? That's definitely kind of the, I guess, intent, like the want of the question is really wanting to feel maybe complete about something. Let's keep digging. We have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, balancing between, I think, letting go and holding on to whatever you're asking about. Yeah, Five of Swords. The Nine of Wands in reverse. And the Dreamer. Yeah, exactly. So whatever you're asking about, it's a no. And the reason is because you need to go more inward, and that's kind of what Spirit wants to focus here. Kind of like what I said is, I feel like majority of you may be asking about a love situation. You don't have to be, but you're basically balancing between letting this go or moving forward with it. And that's really just what this feels like. If love doesn't pertain, whatever question you asked, you feel like you're balancing, right? Like, should I go with this? I don't know. Like, and that's obviously why you're here. But Spirit is saying it's a no because there's something better, right? This is an unwise choice. Spirit does want to make that clear that, if you do pursue this, you obviously have free will, and it's not that anything detrimental. I'm not saying anything detrimental or anything like that. It's just that there's an opportunity for you to gain a new perspective with the Dreamer, and that's why this is not coming to you. Even though you desire it, it's not worth fighting for. It's not worth putting your wand's energy towards, because there is something better. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. So I know that cannot always be what people like to hear, but that's the truth of the matter. Is if you were called to this video, it's because you needed to hear this message. So understand that I know it can be hard to hear no on things. It can feel discouraging. Sometimes it can be a positive no, but I think majority people like to hear yes, right? And so the thing is you may not like to hear this, but please keep an open mind on realizing that your higher self and your spirit guides are trying to push you to see the bigger picture, right? Our ego wants to have things in the moment, because that's what we were conditioned to be, is want, and self, I kind of want all these things for myself, right? Like pleasure based. I want to be pleasured, and it's nothing in a bad way. It's literally how we were conditioned. But we're starting to see new perspectives, right? And so I think Spirit is also saying that this situation is in the past, and it's time to let it be in the past, because there's a reason it doesn't exist in your current reality, right? Or there's a reason it hasn't occurred yet in your reality, is because it's not meant to. You're meant to leave it behind. You're meant to leave this thing behind, whatever it is, and go into this new perspective, this new kind of journey, this new adventure. And yeah, that's definitely what I'm getting. So I know it can be hard to hear, but please take it as everything happens to you for the good of you, right? Like, it's not, you have to see it, everything in your life is happening for me, not to me. Okay, it's not that the universe is trying to they don't want you to be happy, and you have free will, right? But it's just that if you go down this path, it's an unwise choice, simply just in the sense that you're repeating a pattern, right? You're repeating in an old cycle, basically. And Spirit wants you to stop juggling, and again, put your passion energy towards something else. Okay, so let's kind of see the outcome. So it's time to take action. So yeah, it's time to take action it's time to take action and move on. That's what I'm hearing, right? That's the outcome of if you follow, you know, yes, okay, I accept that this is a no, it's time to take action to move past this. Then you are truly free. Believe in the impossible. It may feel impossible to move on from this because it seems like maybe it's such a big part of, you know, your identity in the past late, right? And so it feels scary to leave it behind, and that is kind of the whole message of the dreamer, right? Is it's scary to leave things that are familiar behind because that's all we're used to is the familiar. But that is part of ascension, is putting yourself in the unfamiliar so that you can grow, right? And that's what the dreamer is about, is he's willing to go into this whole new world that he has no idea what to expect. And he doesn't have a lot of baggage with him, right? He's keeping himself open, he's keeping his heart open. And so that's really what your guides want you to focus on, is believe that you can get over this and believe that there's something better on the other side, okay? Conclusions are within reach. Spirit is basically saying that the moment that you make the conscious decision to say this is going to be part of my past, because that's the power that you have, is it is a conscious decision of just saying, I am no longer, put the intention, I am no longer letting this be part of my present. Because why is the past affecting your present, right? It happens to all of us, but the conclusion is within reach, and it is simply just by saying, I don't want this to be part of my present. Setting that intention is setting your thoughts to be in that type of mindset, right? And if you continue reminding and continue practicing those affirmations, right? These are no longer in my present. And you may need to do some shadow work and some healing around, you know, letting it go, but it's about reshaping the way that you see the situation, because that manifests your reality. And then you begin to actually be able to move on. And this doesn't affect you anymore, and you can take this dreamer approach, okay? So this is really what is gonna be the outcome of kind of the Spirit's guidance here. So let's get more guidance on what to do with this situation. Wait for winter. During the colder months, the Fairy Queen of Winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes, as long as your intentions are for the good of all. I don't think literally you need to wait for winter. I think what the guidance is saying here is that you can, whatever, you need to set your intentions for your life higher, right? And it's hard because you can't see, you know, really what to create. So it can be, well, I don't know what I want. But that is something that is really important, because again, your thoughts are manifesting your reality. So if you figure out, who do I want to be in a year? It doesn't need to be, who do I want to be for the rest of my life? Just think about a year from now. Even 6 months from now is a tangible timeline. So think about, how do I want to feel about myself? How do I want to feel about my environment? How do I want to feel about like my job, my finances? Like, think about all the things in your life. How do you want to feel about them? How do you want to think about them? Because that is the consciousness then you are putting out into the universe, right? And then your thoughts start to come closer and closer to that reality. And that is kind of the mind of it all, but that is really the truth. And so I think that's just what they're saying, is allow your intentions to be healing and moving on, and it will be so. Okay. Purity. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it you will find the answer to your question. Wow. Okay, so I think maybe a follow-up question that I bet you guys would have is, why can't I let this go? Why does it have so much power over me? You know, some of you, I feel like you know it has power over you and you don't like it. You don't want it to be that way. Some of you may not realize that it has power over you, and you just are so drawn to trying to figure this out. And the reason why you get drawn to these situations and why it's hard to let them go is because you are meant to let them go, right? It's crazy. I mean, it's just simple as that sounds, but it's really just the truth, is when you're directed to kind of attach to something, it's because it feels safe. It's because your ego is like, that feels familiar. It's something that we know. Again, our ego is completely fearful of the unknown, but your higher self is not. Okay, and that's the difference here. So you need to do some, so I'm sure you have some follow-up questions like, why can't I let this person go, or why can't I let this situation go? And the answer lies within your heart, and that is really what you have to do. Is there could be healing, there could be forgiveness, there could be codependency things, right? There could be all kinds of different things that you need to figure out where the actual root comes from. That is the biggest thing about elevating your ascension, right? And elevating your healing is getting to the root of the issue. So a lot of it can stem from childhood, because that's where our roots are planted. And so definitely think about that if you're going to do shadow work, but know that your heart is the true power, okay? And if you lead in love and you learn to let this situation, you know, maybe transform at the viewpoint of love, but still saying this doesn't serve me, because when you work on your self-love, you're able to get more love, but you're also able to just see through the lens of love and see situations as they are instead of feeling controlled by them, right? And then we have abundance. Prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks that you have. In fairyland and human land, there is enough abundance for everyone. I think it's, again, release any mental blocks you have, because there's abundance through this door, and it can be very hard because we don't see it with our physical eyes. But realize that your higher self sees all of this available to you, right? Which is why they're pushing you to realize it's okay to step into the unknown. It can be scary, but it's also where everything beautiful lies, because society operates on one wheel, right? And we're starting to break out of that. So, I mean, obviously we've identified the question, or the answer to your question is a no, but I hope if you're still here, you know, thank you for sticking it through. I know it can be really hard to hear no. I'm sure a lot of people clicked off, and if you're still here, this message is definitely meant for you. And just realize that a lot is coming your way, and it can be hard right now. I know it's hard to let this thing go, but know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's something better on the other side, right? Like the universe is consistently looking in your best favor, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes, okay? It's all about your perspective. So I really hope this gave you some clarity on your question, and again, gave you some actionable things that you can do to move this forward so that you can be in the situation you want to be in. So thank you, group 1, for sticking out through this. And I really hope you enjoyed your reading. So please leave me a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next pick a card reading. All right, group 2, welcome to your reading. Chose a beautiful rose quartz heart. So I want you to focus on your question, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what the cards are in here. So the first cards we have is going to be a straight, direct answer to your question. And then the tarot cards will give a little bit more detail why that is the answer. And then there'll be some cards on the outcome of your situation, of your answer, and then some guidance around your answer. Okay, so continue focusing on that, and let's jump straight in. Okay, we have Wolf Spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. Okay. Cat Spirit, claim your independence. Armadillo Spirit, set healthy boundaries. And Rhino Spirit, overcome any obstacle. Okay, I'm getting a straight yes answer to your question. So the reason why is we definitely have a lot of let's go energy, right? You have the Rhino Spirit, you can overcome any obstacle. So whatever, you know, a lot of people who are directed to these yes or no is because they're struggling with something, right? They're struggling with, I don't know what's going to happen with this, uncertainty. So, but Spirit is saying you can overcome any obstacle. So know that you're going to overcome this. And one thing Spirit does want to kind of just point out with this is to claim your independence in the situation or with the person or whatever your question is about. But it's about setting healthy boundaries as well. So claiming your independence and setting healthy boundaries. Okay, so that's just a big important part to the yes, but this is definitely a yes. Let's dig a little bit more in depth. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Wow. And the Seven of Swords. Okay, so a little bit more kind of info regarding your question then is there's a lot of ones here, right? And one kind of always simplifies like the beginning of a new journey, right? And so that seems to definitely be the case. You know, the aces are always, well, at least in this deck, they're connected to the pages, right? So they kind of grow up, and all these things that they've invested in as aces are like full grown and complete by the time it's the page. And so what Spirit is saying here is that this is a yes, because this is an obstacle that you need to, one, overcome, and two, it's something that is going to take some work, but it's going to bring you a lot of fruits later on. Okay, so this is an investment. But right now, the thing to be aware of, and that makes sense with these two cards, is Spirit is just saying there's right now, in regards to this person or situation, there's a loss of personal freedom, which is not part of this. You are definitely meant to go towards this, right? Because it has a learning, it's part of your journey, but be very cautious about making sure that you have personal freedom, because that is extremely important in the learning access. So make sure, again, you claim your independence and you set healthy boundaries, okay? All right, cool. And then let's see some of the outcomes of this situation. We have a personal issue reaches resolution. Look at that. So you're meant to learn a big lesson from the situation. So this could be a positive or a negative yes, in, you know, that perspective, which is very subjective, but it really is in the right path. Again, if you were called to this video, you were meant to get your question answered whatever time you're watching this, okay? So this situation is going to cause a personal issue to reach resolution. So it's time to take a breath out, okay? So, and I think what Spirit is saying here is the outcome of this situation is you're also learning to take time for yourself, right? That's what you're gonna learn from this, because you're setting personal boundaries and you're setting time for yourself. So you're gonna learn how to take time to breathe out, and maybe that's the personal issue that you need to learn, right? Is a little bit more self-care. Nothing will come of the situation. So what they're saying is if you do not pursue this, nothing else is going to come out of this but a missed opportunity, which is okay, because again, you have free will, so you can choose if you want to take this path or not. If you don't take this path, it's not that, you know, you're this is my cat Paisley. If you don't take this path, it's not that, you know, you're effing up your soul journey or anything like that, because the universe will still direct you in the right direction. But know that if you don't take this, you will not learn these lessons as quickly as you could if you do take this path, okay? Prosperity lies ahead. Yes, if you take this path, prosperity lies ahead, right? And we did talk about that, because again, as I said, that when the aces reach pages, it's an investment. So now that you have, again, this insight, take this insight and invest it into yourself, right? That's really what you're doing, is just investing in yourself, because prosperity is gonna lie ahead. And then we have new moon in Taurus. You could be a Taurus, you don't have to be, but this new moon really is speaking to me, because again, we have the ones. So new journey, right? New path. And then the answers you need are coming. I mean, here they are. No, but you could have more questions. Usually people do, right? This is a yes or no reading, but obviously there's always follow-up questions when it's a blatant yes or no. And so whatever follow-up questions you have, your guides will give you kind of the missing pieces, you know, if you choose to take these insights and apply them, okay? Either way, your guides are always going to give you the insights to try to direct you to the path that you need to walk in order to ascend, right? And get to your higher self. All right, so lastly, let's see then kind of some guidance from the fairies on how to walk this path. We have precious time. Yeah, the fairy of time wants you to experience every moment fully and make the the most of your precious time. Be mindful not to waste other people's time either. See, I think what, this is saying is, again, focus on yourself. Set those personal boundaries where you're spending time with yourself and you're really building that kind of habit of, I care about myself. And it doesn't come from a place of selfishness. It comes from a place of self-care, right? It comes from a place of self-love. You're building your self-love by respecting yourself. And that's really more what it's about. And so precious time, okay? So the fairies want you to know that spend time with yourself, right? Look in a book. Whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will give you the insight you seek. Okay, so again, the follow-up questions that I'm sure that you have, your guides are going to give you some of those downloads through books. So you may like to read, whatever the case is, whatever you're drawn to, just use your intuition. Don't overthink it. Well, what am I going to read? Don't overthink it. Just whenever you feel drawn to a book, go to it and say, oh, well, this possibly could be, what my guides are trying to tell me regarding this path, because they're going to help you through it. Because it's scary to go down these paths where you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know if it's worth the investment, right? But hopefully you do see that it is worth it. But your guides are here to help you every step of the way. So they'll help you with insights, okay? And then we have friendship. Fairies and humans alike need friends. Now's the time to seek out those who will support and encourage you on your journey to fulfill your dreams. Okay, so as you're claiming your independence and setting healthy boundaries, invest in those relationships. And, maybe it is setting healthy boundaries with some of the people in your life, but invest in the people who allow you to feel energized and are not sucking your energy, right? And so, because it's definitely important to have, again, people supporting you on this unknown journey. But remember, you got to pay attention to you first. So if you're not feeling it that night, or you're not feeling it, whatever the case is, you stand up and respect yourself, okay? And that's part of the guidance here. Is friendship is important and it's part of the support, but make sure that you're going when you want to, right? And when you feel ready to, and your guides will help you with that. Celebration, get ready to let your hair down and celebrate. It's time to go out and dance and play. An invitation could be on the way. Yeah, exactly. So again, it's not, the thing that I think people get really turned off from with self-growth and self-awareness is that it's a lot of work. And so if you're still on this video and you're still watching this, then this is definitely an answer for you right now, because a lot of people, when they hear they have to do work, they don't like it. And it's understandable because it feels like a lot to be constantly working on yourself. That's why it's important to always have a balance. And your, guides definitely want you to know that. And of course, the wisdom from the fairies on guidance on this situation is it's going to be a lot of work. And again, it's going to be an investment, because you're basically investing a difference in mindset, right? You're basically building a new mindset. In a lot of different areas, right? Emotionally, passionately, and then kind of ambitionally, more so like about kind of your well-being, right? Like finances and that type of stuff, education. And so this path is a lot about self-investment. That is really kind of the purpose of kind of this opportunity that's being presented to you. So, but don't forget that you can celebrate along the way. It doesn't have to be I can't have fun until this is done, because you're always going to be in a state of self-growth if you're ascending, right? If you choose to honor your ascension, you're always ascending. So you're always growing. So you can't forget to have fun and enjoy the human experience, okay? That is really important with this path. But overall, obviously this is a big yes to your question. So I hope it's a positive yes. If you're feeling a little anxious about it, work with your guides on helping you kind of redefine the mindset with it, right? You want to look at it as, yes, it's scary to go into the unknown, but there's beautiful endings for me. And now I have the insights. So now take, these insights and apply them to your life. So thank you for sticking around for this. I really hope you can take these and apply them into your life and they gave you some clarity and some peace. Please leave me a like and consider subscribing. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next group, but I will see you guys in the next pick a card reading. All right, group 3, welcome to your reading. Beautiful green heart. All right, so I really want you to think about your question again and just kind of fill into that energy. So to give you a little bit of an overview of the different cards we have here, the first cards are going to be a pretty straight answer to your question. The tarot cards will give a little bit more insight onto why that was your answer, as well as the outcome of your answer and then some guidance around it, okay? So go ahead and focus on that and let's jump straight in. Okay, we have the Eagle Spirit. Spirit has your back. Porcupine Spirit, time for a beginner mind. Hummingbird Spirit, be here now. And Dragonfly Spirit, truth transcends illusion. Okay, so straight away, the answer to your question is no. If, that disappoints you, I, definitely encourage you to continue watching the video because you're definitely gonna see why the answer is a no if that discourages you. Again, if you're not ready to hear this message, that's okay. You can come back when you are, but if you are ready to hear this, know that this is gonna help you through your ascension, okay? So if this does just make you feel disappointed in any way, know that it's happening for you and not to you, okay? So, but let's dig into why the answer is no. We have Ace of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. We have Justice. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so one thing that I want to say is for some of you, the reason why it's no is because you need to let go of the past. With the Hummingbird Spirit, we have be here in the now. And it seems like you maybe it's not even about living in the past. I think some of you maybe are asking about something that is in the future, but it's not really part of your reality yet, right? And so kind of what Spirit is saying is the reason that it's no is because for a lot of you, I think it's an idea, because there's a lot of swords energy here. So I think it's an idea. And the reason why, this idea is not the one to maybe take off, or the answer is just no with your question in regards to this idea, is because it is the right direction, but it's not quite the right path. Does that make sense? Like there's more to explore, and you need to be more focused on the path and not the direction, because that may feel like kind of contradictory, but I think what Spirit is trying to say is that you need to just get a little bit more refined and kind of focus on truth and not illusion. You need to ask yourself, why am I, one, interested in, chasing this or interested in pursuing this, and make sure that it comes from Spirit, right? Spirit has your back. So, listen to your intuition and see, if it truly does come from Spirit. And the reason why Spirit wants you to get a path is because you're meant to become you're meant to become a little bit of an expert in the path that you choose. And it's about following your passion, okay? So the thing about the path is you can't be so stuck on the different parts of the path. Like, because some people will say, well, don't focus on the path because then, you're not truly living in the moment, but you're just flowing with what happens next, right? But you do want to follow a path because it's time for a beginner mind, because starting in a beginner mind with the basically knowledge that the Page of Pentacles has. The Page of Pentacles in this deck is grown up from the Ace of Pentacles, right? So it shows her, you know, a lot younger, and she's going to school and excited, you know, now she's very disciplined. And so that is the reason why your answer is no, is because there needs to be more discipline to a specific path, okay? Because we have justice here. So again, stand up for what you believe. You have to really fill into what is the truth in your soul, which path is the truth. And again, it may not be what everyone else would choose, because society is mainly conditioned to focus on illusion and not truth. So whatever your path is, it might go against, you know, what people deem is the truth, but it's truly illusion, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why your answer is a no. And so hopefully that gives you kind of some clarity. Let's kind of see the outcome of you not pursuing this then. We have nothing is yet set in stone. Okay, so like I just said, there's a lot of flexibility with that path. I think that's one thing to keep in mind, is you could be someone who doesn't like the idea of having maybe a carved out path. I kind of sense that with a few of you, that you don't like kind of rules, right? You don't like set in stone, but nothing is. The thing is you follow that path because there needs to be something that you are a master at. And that's the only way you truly master something, is by dedicating time, devotion, right, to that specific thing. And that's what is required of you, because it's part of your journey. Okay, you're meant to be a master in something specific. So that's why your answer is no, because there's a different idea that needs to come through, right? So just know that you may choose a path, but not every marker is set in stone for you. You choose those markers. Show the world the real you. Yeah, exactly. So like I said, you know, the idea, I feel like for a lot of you, it's maybe a business idea or just an idea in general that you want to kind of promote or show or sell or whatever the case is, right? It's just something to do with other people, and you are afraid of what other people are going to think. But again, truth transcends illusion. So if you are feeling like people are not going to accept your idea, it doesn't matter. And that could be why the answer is no too, is because the original idea that you're pursuing is more ego-based instead of spirit-based, right? You want to think about your higher self, and is this in, again, divine alignment? So show the world the real you, because that is really a big part of your soul path, is to show the world the real you. And so this is a way that, you know, you can really start implementing that in your life. Meditate and contemplate. Yeah, so what Spirit is saying is the outcome of the situation may make you feel really sad, right? Because it seems like, you know, if it's an idea, you've probably put a lot of time and already effort into it, and so you may feel defeated, and that's completely understandable. And that's why, you know, I definitely thank you for continuing to be here. If you're still here watching this reading, it's hard to hear these messages and it can feel very defeating, but know that this is happening for you, not to you, okay? And that Spirit is here for your greatest good. And it can feel like a disappointment, but you have to see it as a step in your journey. It was not a mistake. You didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing you could have done differently. It was meant to happen. Instead, look at the situation and say, okay, what did I learn from this? Right? Maybe you learned that this truly isn't, you don't want to have an idea based on what other people think. You want it to be what you think, right? So Spirit just wants you to meditate and contemplate with your idea and think about what it is that is your truth. And that is what needs to come out, right? Those are the ideas that need to be spoken to the world, especially now, right? That's obviously a big part of your soul journey, is to help kind of raise the collective, right? Raise the consciousness, ascend the collective, help ascend the collective. So just kind of repeated that, but that's really a big part of your soul mission, right? That's why a lot of us are awoke at this time. So now let's kind of get some guidance from the fairies then on how you can move forward with this. So we have solitude. Think of being alone as meaning you're all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that sit silently during your quiet times. Yeah, so again, you are going within probably for a period of time, right? You're meditating and contemplating the direction that you want to take your life in truth, right? And so spend that time in solitude, really figuring out what direction you want to take, right? And how your idea can really speak to your truth. So that's definitely advice. And then we also have believe in magic. Open your eyes and see the magic that's all around nature. The fairy of Northern Lights says you are part of nature, so you are magical too. And I think this is about, you need to realize that your guides are all around you, as well as energies, right? We can't see them with our physical eyes, but there is energies consistently all around us, right? That's the way of the dimensional universe. And so know that if you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling alone, or you're feeling unsure, or you're not feeling clear, you can always ask help from the fairies, help from your guides, you know, a goddess, whatever really speaks to you, whatever is your truth. That is what you can call in for assistance, because that is a big part of this journey. Is it can feel like a lot, you know, especially when you're trying to master something. It can feel, what direction do I go now? How do I find my path? And believe, first of all, that anything is possible. And believing in magic is just believing past our current state of, you know, our world, basically. It's believing in the 5D and understanding that there's a higher level of consciousness and there's other beings. And so it's just really about believing that your thoughts really do manifest your reality. And so know that, you know, again, this is not happening to you, it's happening for you, okay? So, and then we have hidden depths. Something hidden is about to come to light. Perhaps a secret or a memory at the back of your mind. When you expose what's hidden, we become free. Yeah, see, I think when you meditate and contemplate, I think you're going to get a lot of insight onto why this idea is, you know, maybe so ingrained into you, or why this idea is something that you want so badly. But I think there's a part of you that it definitely feels true, especially if you're still here, that you know that this idea is not in the right path. It's maybe in the right direction, but it's not the right path. Okay, and you're like, I mean, I kind of know that, but it just feels, again, disheartening. It feels defeating. But the answers, the path that you need to get on, and the path that you seek, truly seek, is basically hidden in your unconscious. So when you meditate and you contemplate about what do I really want, and you're kind of really, again, seeing past the illusion, you're seeing past the ego, which when you're digging into your unconscious and you're seeing your truths, that's when you can really mold your reality, right? And so it's believing in the magic, but it's just when you see the truth come to the light, basically, when truth transcends illusion for you, you will be free. And then this basically mastery will become a lot easier to implement. Does that make sense? I hope that kind of makes sense. But I mean, so overall, you know, the answer, you know, obviously is no, but no, it's because that idea is meant to get greater. It's meant to be greater. And so I know these messages can be really hard to hear. So, you know, thank you again for sticking it through. I really hope you can take these insights and now apply them to your life so that you can continue your ascension with more clarity. But if you did like this video, please leave me a like and consider subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next pick a card reading, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next group. All right, group 4, welcome to your reading. You chose the Clear Quartz Heart. Okay, so I want you to focus again on your question to give you a little bit of insight into the cards here. The first cards are going to give you a pretty straightforward yes or no. And then the tarot cards give you a little bit more in-depth reasoning behind the answer, as well as outcomes of your situation and then guidance on the situation. Okay? So let's just jump straight into the answer to the question. So focus on that. All right, we have Wombat Spirit, be at home. Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. Frog Spirit, clear out the clutter. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. And the Bat Spirit, a rebirth is assured. Okay, so the straightforward answer to your question is a no. So let me kind of explain a little bit. And, you know, please keep in mind that if that no causes any discomfort for you, disappointment, right, whatever the case is, I just, you know, really encourage you to get the insights that can help you move kind of away from this situation, right? Because there's a reason that this is not coming to fruition for you. It's not meant to. So, you know, there's definitely going to be some insights that are going to help you through this if you do feel any discomfort around the answer being no. For some of you, you may not. And if you're not ready to hear these answers, that's okay. You can come back when you are. But why the answer is no is because Spirit needs you to basically go into a new path, right? A new situation. A rebirth is assured. So you could be asking about a person, right? Or just a situation in general, but Spirit wants you to basically clear out this old energy because it's old things that are no longer serving you. And so, you know, Spirit wants you to lay a solid foundation for you and what makes you happy, and kind of spend some time going within, right? So, and kind of bring too, like a gentle touch to yourself. And as far as just respecting yourself to say, okay, I realize that, you know, this is happening for me and not to me, and kind of seeing how can I heal from this situation, right? Because Spirit just wants you to clear out the clutter. So Spirit wants you to clear your energy field, wants you to kind of move on from this situation or person, okay? Because a rebirth is assured. So let's dig into why a little bit more. The answer is no. We have release. Yeah, again, this is an old kind of cycle basically that is ended for a reason. It was meant to end. The situation or the person was meant to end, or it's not meant to move forward, or whatever the case is, because it needed to release this old energy. It needs to move on from this past experience because it's in the past. It taught you the lesson you needed to learn, and now it's time to move on. Okay, we have Six of Wands. Yeah, again, victory. You've already learned the lesson that you needed to learn from this situation. So, you know, you may have a hard time letting it go because this situation or person has, you know, a very big impact on you because you've done a lot of maybe self-growth, or you've just had a lot of good experiences. It's just been part of your life for, you know, a long time that it feels hard to release it, but it's completely okay because it no longer is serving you. It served its purpose. It taught you the lesson that it was meant to teach, whether that's, again, a person or a situation. Then we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, so I think actually for a lot of you, I think a lot of you may actually have a positive mindset around this. I think some of you may have felt, you know, disappointment, and that's completely okay. I think some of you maybe are like, okay, shit, like maybe you already knew it, your intuition already knew what the answer was, right? So, but I think a lot of you now, which is so funny because I feel like this is a live energy card, because it literally says negative thoughts manifesting into challenges, right? Which could be the situation. But again, I think you're having a very already kind of positive outlook on this. You're like, okay, fine. I get it. I understand. Because again, like, you've learned the lesson you needed to learn. It's time to release it. It's pretty straightforward. And so this is like current energy of you right now, which is cool. I am an empath, clairsentient, so that I can definitely pick up on emotions. So I definitely feel like, you know, majority of you are seeing this and being like, okay, fine. You don't want your thoughts of hanging on to this manifest your reality, right? Which is why all these really positive, bright cards are coming out. Because even though the answer is no, there's a lot of, again, a rebirth is assured. There's already like a beautiful ending being kind of presented, right? Like here it is. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And yeah, because look at that. We have the world in reverse. So the reason it's in reverse is just because once you release, right, the situation, that is what you're working towards, right? The world is all about ascension. And so you're on a part of your ascension. And I say a part because we're continuously ascending, right? Going through different stages of ascension. And so once you release this, you're on to kind of the next stage of your ascension. Yeah. So let's see kind of the outcome of releasing this then. We have hold your vision. Okay, so yeah, you definitely have a vision, and maybe that's why this is also hard to let go, because you had envisioned this situation or person to be part of that. But, you know, Spirit is saying hold the visions that still, you know, basically still build a foundation for you, that are basically self-focused, and not in a selfish way and not in a like narcissistic way. For example, if this question was about letting go of a person, you know, should I let this person go? Holding your vision of maybe you really liked this person because as a partner, they offered this to you or they brought this to you. And so that's what Spirit is saying, is that you can still hold on to the vision of what this situation or person provided, but not the situation. You know, that's not what you hold on to. Does that make sense? Like you basically still hold on to the values of the situation, because it seems like it was pretty positive, right? And maybe that's also why you don't want to let it go. Like it's just kind of some time to kind of focus on you and just clear out this, again, this clutter. It's kind of stuff that no longer serves you. It's not that it's negative things. It's just about things that are just not serving you anymore. And so it's about holding your vision of, okay, but what did you like about it that still serves you, right? Or what do you want it to serve you differently? And so that's what Spirit is saying with that. The other outcome is adjustments are required. So I think this is not more of an outcome, more just Spirit saying the adjustment that is required here is the release. I think that's the first card that I looked at, is because I think that's the adjustment that's required here. And once you have that, again, you're going into the world energy. We also have balance, spirituality, and practicality. I think that's an outcome of, you know, choosing to release this. And again, it's because of your ascension. You're going to learn more of a balance of working with your ascension, but also working with yourself. Because the thing about it is, you know, because we do live in a modern society, a lot of us are still integrated into society. We can still be spiritual and woke, right? And ascending and be part of society. That's actually a big part of our light work, is to help ascend society, right? So we have to be integrated into society, but you learn a balance of working with society, which I say kind of society as also the ego, because that's really what society is the ego. Everybody is controlled right now. Their default is controlled by their ego. That is just what we've been programmed to do. We're coming out of that with the age of Aquarius, which is why you're here too watching this, right? Because you're part of that ascension. So anyways, you're going to learn how to balance spirituality and practicality together, which is a very good skill to have, again, because of what I just explained. It's really needed for our soul missions. So that is what you're going to be coming out of as part of your ascension kind of next step, which is amazing. And then we have luck is on your side. Yeah, so just know that releasing this, a lot more is coming to you, right? Which again, I feel like a lot of you are like, okay, like this feels true, I think, to a lot of you, you know, and some of the other piles I've had to be, you know, I know this can feel hard to hear this answer, which is why I said that at first, because I have definitely felt that in some of the other groups. But I feel like for you guys, you know, I think you already really knew the answer to this and you just wanted confirmation, which is completely okay, because it's more than confirmation. Now you have some more insights, right? And so I'm glad you're here. So thank you for sticking it through, but just know that luck is on your side, okay? And expect powerful change. Yeah, absolutely. The World card, right? Like you are in the right mindset that you need to be. Your thoughts manifest your reality, right? So since you've taken this already and been like, okay, fine, accepting it, and once you release this and get into this world energy and part of your ascension, right? Powerful change is coming because of this, right? When you are always moving towards your soul purpose, then you're raising your frequency, you're raising your vibration, and thus your ascension, and thus powerful things come to you because you're unlocking your potential, you're unlocking your power. Okay, so that's what, like, one of the other outcomes of this answer. Lastly, let's get some guidance from the fairies on how to kind of help you through this. Okay, we have light. The fairy queen of light comes to shed love and light into your current situation and remind you that the light can penetrate the darkness. Yeah, again, this is really just what I said. I think it's reminding you of your soul mission, right? You're a light worker. And so realize what you're here to do, right? You're here to help society ascend. So, you know, clearing the clutter, letting things that don't serve you, lay the foundations that you need to kind of be ready to step into your soul mission, because that is really coming, right? Like, yeah, that's really coming. And so that's kind of what the fairies are saying and spirit is saying, is just work with the light, right? And always focus on love and light, because that's always your soul path. And then we have temptation. Are you in denial about an unhealthy habit, perhaps one that makes you feel guilty? This fairy says you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever its disguise. Yeah, so I think, you know, you're releasing, and I think, you know, the fairies just want you to be aware that as you are integrating more with spirituality and you're integrating practicality and spirituality together, right? Like, as we talked about, it's gonna feel easy to be tempted with the ego, because that is the energy that is gonna be surrounding you. So another message that I'm getting is kind of what I'm just saying is there's gonna be a lot of energy that surrounds you because of what your light work mission is, right? You're here to help other people ascend, and because of that, your ego is going to be constantly flooded with that energy of other people's ego, right? If that makes sense. And so that's where I think spirit is also reminding you to clear out your energy field, and again, clear out the clutter. Just clear out the energy that doesn't serve you daily, weekly, just depending on how often you work with other people, because as you're helping other people ascend, you're constantly having your energy field kind of penetrated, right, with other energies. And, you know, depending on where you're at in your spiritual ascension, some people are more sensitive to others as well. It can really just vary, but spirit just wants you to be aware that, just realize that is what is going to happen as you're helping other people ascend. Okay, so just don't allow your energy field to become cluttered and allow you to become clouded. Okay. We have moon energy. Surround surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. You're feeling confused. This fairy comes to calm the emotions and reassure you that peace of mind is possible. Yeah, again, so if you're feeling cloudy, know that probably one of the things is your energy, okay, is feeling basically cluttered up by other people's, okay? So I actually get the feeling that some of you might be empaths as well, because it seems like maybe your energy field is sensitive, and mine is as well, so I completely understand. But working with the flow of life too, I think the guidance here again is, as you're releasing things, it doesn't need to be this big intense thing. It can simply be setting the intention of, I no longer am going to attach to this mindset, this idea, this person. And if you continue to just re-hone that thought, right, and you're consistently consciously saying that thought in your head, that will manifest your reality. Okay, so I think that's just what they're saying here is flow, because you don't need to put too much time or work into it. And then we have find balance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy. Harmony and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. Yeah, remember, balance, spirituality, and practicality. I think you're actually learning to balance a lot. I think that's the foundation that, you know, spirit is saying that this will help you build, is balancing a lot of things with these two different worlds almost, right? It really does feel like two different worlds sometimes when we think about spirituality and kind of dealing with society, right? It feels different. And so spirit is just saying, you know, find balance between those things. And so it's important to, I think when people start the ascension, they get very ingrained into it, right? It gets very intoxicating, almost addictive, because when you grow and you can see yourself ascending, you're like, holy shit, right? But the problem is yes, we're always continuously ascending, no matter what. But you still have to enjoy the human experience. And so I think that's what Spirit is also saying, is that you're going to be doing releasing, right? And you're going to be ascending, but you can still have fun and enjoy life. And please remember to do so, because you don't want to constrain yourself to always just be ascending, right? There has to be the balance of the two. So yeah, overall, you know, that's the answer to your question then. I hope it brought some peace to you guys and some insight, and now you can take these insights and actually apply them into your life to help with your ascension. So yes, please leave me a like if this resonated, and consider subscribing. And I really hope, again, this brought you some clarity, but with the clear quartz, right? Some clarity. But I will see you guys in the next pick a card reading.